So let's start. So hi guys, I'm Chaitanya. I will be your trainer for the next 8 weeks to 10 weeks of the training. So it's completely a weekend batch where we are going to have this sessions throughout the weekends only. So that here the happiest thing is that we don't have any time constraint, if at all. If we have to go for any concepts to a prolonged session, yes, we can do that also. So basically the classes will be 2 hours, but if the content is very high and we have to go on further, then we can go for this. There won't be any time constraint. And if at all there is anything, something added, a new syllabus, or else if there is, I can add any new concepts, I can add them. So you don't have to worry about all those things. And welcome to DURGASOFT. So I hope that this training will be goes on. This training will be good. So these whatever the today's and tomorrow classes, whatever this weekend classes, these will be completely the basic concepts that you are going to learn, and you will have from next week onwards, you will have the normal classes that will be considered as the normal topics, the basic AWS topic that we are going to discuss. So what is the agenda of today's class? The agenda of today's class is what is the path of learning AWS or else any cloud, path to learn cloud. And then we will be discussing about basic concepts that are required, basic prerequisites to learn AWS or else any cloud, prerequisites to learn cloud. And then we will discuss about what is cloud. Maybe there might be just 2 minutes of introduction about me, intro about faculty, and then there will be like why we have to go for cloud, what is the basic on-prem, why cloud, and what is the difference between on-prem and cloud, on-prem and cloud, and what are the basic prerequisites? What are the here itself? I will tell you the prerequisites to learn the cloud, and as well as the prerequisites configuration that you require, that you request for, that you should have with you, and then what is cloud and what is the difference between on-prem and cloud. And we will be discussing about, if possible, AWS account creation today. And after this, I would like to introduce data center architecture also. So these are the concepts that we will try to, or else these are the concepts that we will try to cover in this class. If possible, we will be going for the networking configurations also. Network, IP address. So these are the things that we will be covering here. And after that, so tomorrow, so this is the agenda of today's class, and let's start. First of all, let me introduce about myself. I am Chaitanya. I'm your trainer for the next couple of next 8 to 10 weeks, and I'm having the certifications with the AWS and Cisco, Linux, and Microsoft. These are all the certifications. So like I have 10 to 15 certifications with me, and yeah, I have been working for this company, some MNC companies. I don't want to name the company, but I'm working as a system administrator from past 5 years, and I have an immense knowledge on only infrastructure. I'm completely related to infrastructure itself. I'm completely related to infrastructure itself, and so whatever the topics that we are going to cover, the complete topics will be of infrastructure only. So infrastructure related topics and whatnot. The cloud is completely regarding to your infrastructure, how to build the servers, how to deploy the servers, what are the different applications that we can deploy in the servers, whatnot. That is what we are going to discuss in this class. So let us go for the configuration that is related to what is the path of learning cloud, how we can learn cloud. Here you need to understand. So many of you are having some exaggeration that cloud is a place, is a remote place where we can store the data. So cloud is only for storing the data. These are some of the exaggerations, or else these are some of the imaginations that the students are having, that cloud is only for storing data. But cloud is not only for storing data, it is also, it will provide so many services. It will provide so many services. The basic services that the cloud is going to provide is servers, networking, storage. These are the services that are provided by your cloud infrastructure or else cloud. And then storage is also one of the part of the cloud, but storage is not completely a cloud. But the basic cloud was developed first. Whenever the cloud is developed, the basic cloud is developed as a storage. Okay, so everybody will think that so it is going to provide only storage. It is not only going to provide storage, it is going to provide so many services. So what are the prerequisites to learn cloud? One, what is the path of learning cloud? The path to learn cloud is, so if at all, if you want to learn cloud, you need to have a basic understanding about networking concepts. It is not completely mandatory to have a networking basics, but you need to understand what is IP. At least you need to understand how one computer will communicate, or else one server will communicate with the another server. What is the procedure that will happen in the backend? So at least you need to have a basic understanding about the networking concept. Once you know that, then we can go for Linux. You need to have the basic understanding about Linux operating system. So why? Because 90% of the public cloud is completely relying on the Linux operating system. Whatever the servers you deploy, every server will be deployed in the Linux operating system only. So you need to have a basic understanding about Linux. And then after you have a knowledge on Linux, at least you need to have basic command knowledge. Which command is used for what? So this is the basic command concepts you need to have knowledge on Linux. And then we can go for AWS. That is either Amazon Web Services, or else if you are interested towards Azure, yes, you can have a knowledge on Azure also. Either one cloud is recommended once you complete the Linux configurations or else Linux understanding. Then we can go for the AWS or Azure. And then you can go for DevOps. And once you complete the DevOps, then you can go for Kubernetes. So why Kubernetes is separately, you are saying? Why? Because DevOps itself is a very vast subject, and Kubernetes is another vast subject. So another vast tool actually. So which cannot be incorporated in the DevOps. If at all, if I have to incorporate Kubernetes in the DevOps, then it is going to take all around. In general, DevOps itself alone will take 50 days of the classes to complete, but if I include Kubernetes, it is going to take all around 80 to 90 days to complete the topic. So if you want to read, or else if you want to complete Kubernetes, you can complete it as a separate concept, and then you can learn Azure. If you learn AWS here, you can complete Azure, so that you can have at least minimum 2 cloud knowledges. So basically companies are requesting the candidates who are having the basic knowledge, cross cloud platform knowledge. So everybody should have the cross cloud platform knowledge. And then you need to have AWS. If you complete Azure here, you can have the knowledge towards AWS. And then after Azure and AWS, you can go for, if you are still interested to learn more clouds, then you can go for GCP. Once you complete the GCP, then you can go for learning Python, basic coding language. So this is how your path should be. So Python is not mandatory to learn, but from upcoming 3 to 4 years, every company is requesting the candidates who are having both the knowledges. They should have the infrastructure knowledge as well as they should have the coding language. Minimum basic coding knowledge is required. So you need to have the basic knowledge on Python, and then you need to have all this knowledge. So today we will be discussing completely about the basics that we require to learn. And so hope you understand the path to learn about how you can learn cloud. So either you can learn AWS or Azure. It is not mandatory that we have to learn only AWS. After learning AWS only, we have to learn Azure. So that is not there. So you can learn AWS, or else you can learn Azure also. After learning any one of the cloud, then definitely you need to learn second cloud also. So that is the mandatory thing. Why? Because each and every company, not only if you go to, some clients may require their projects to be dumped in AWS, and some clients may require their projects to be dumped in Abhishek, can you wait for a while so that we are going to discuss about each and every services that we are going to cover in this topic, please. I am going to discuss about the curriculum also. First go through the path, then we can go for the curriculum. Just wait for a while. Hold yourself. Okay. So we are going to learn AWS and Azure, and afterwards then you can learn DevOps. Okay. So these are the topics that we are going to learn, and then we will be going for the next one is AWS services that you are going to learn. Guys, we will be discussing each and every point regarding your curriculum, regarding your syllabus, regarding everything, whatnot, each and everything we are going to discuss. Can you please hold your nerve for a while? First of all, understand the basic configurations, basic thing, how we can learn the cloud. If you can understand this, then we can go for the services. So we are here to do each and everything properly in a proper manner. Okay. So if you can't hold your nerve, I cannot do anything. Just hold your nerve for a while. So this is a class of 2 to 3 hours of class where you can have each and everything in detail. So please wait. Okay. Do you want to go anywhere else apart from the class? If at all, if the class is in between the class, you want to go anywhere else, you don't want to go now. So just wait. We will discuss about each and every topic. If still you have the doubts, you can ask me. Okay. So what are the different AWS services that we are going to learn? So first one is as I already provided you syllabus in the DURGASOFT website, you can go through that. But still, the basic concepts that we are going to learn here is intro to cloud, and then VPC configuration. In VPC, we are having VPC peering, VPC NAT gateway, VPC transit gateway, VPC VPN, and then we are going to learn about VPC endpoints. These are the concepts that we are going to cover. VPC security groups. These are the concepts that we are going to cover in VPC. And after that, we are going to learn about EC2 instances. In EC2, we are having instances types, AMIs, and block storages, and then we will be going for the load balancers. In load balancers, we are having two types of load balancers: application load balancer, networking load balancer, and then we will be going with the auto scaling groups. And after auto scaling groups, we are going to learn about what I can say, Route 53, Route 53, and then global accelerator and content delivery network. These are the concepts that we are going to cover. And after EC2, you are going to learn about S3 buckets. In S3 buckets, you will be learning about management of S3 bucket and what are the different permissions that we can provide for the S3 buckets. And then we are going to learn about access points in the S3 buckets. These are the concepts that you will be learning S3. And then we will be learning about IAM policies, IAM roles and users configuration. These concepts we will be covering in the IAM. And then RDS configurations, relational databases, and CloudWatch, and AWS SSM, or also AWS what I can say, AWS SSM configurations that we are going to learn, and AWS organization, orgs, and then we will be learning about cloud formation. So there is one more concept called as AWS Glue. This is also the concept that we are introducing from this batch. So this is also you are going to learn here. And that's about your cloud formation and all the things. These are the topics that we are going to learn. These are the basic main topics, main services that I have provided. In between them, we are having so many services. As I already said, you in EC2 only you are having all around 10 services, 10 to 15 services. In VPC, you are having somewhere like 6 to 7 services. In RDS, you are having relational database, MySQL database, and all the things. In S3, you are having some more services. In CloudWatch, you are going to have the knowledge on metrics, logs, whatnot. You are going to have each and everything. And in S3 also you are having EFS and FSX. These are the concepts that you are going to learn. So these are the basic main topics that you are going to learn. Inside that you are having some subtopics where you are going to have an immense knowledge on the concept. And one more thing, guys, please don't ask me about the theory about, sir, are you going to dictate the theory for us? So this is not a dictation class. This is only the training class where you are going to have a basic understanding about the concepts. And each and every time we cannot provide the notes for the classes. Okay, so if you want to have the theoretical knowledge, just to go through the documents that are provided by the Amazon itself. These are the completely reliable sources. Docs.aws If you go to the documentation here, you will have each and every concept in theoretical manner. So whatever the documents or else whatever the concepts that we discuss, each and everything will be available over here. You can go through them, and whatever the topics that we are going to discuss, all the topics will be in the practical manner, not the theoretical manner. If I have to say each and everything in the theory, it is not going to happen. Everything will be practical from each and every day. Whatever the concept that we do, everything will be in the practical only. Okay, so that's about your services that you are going to learn. And now ask your questions. Is there anything that you want to know apart from this? Whatever I have shared, the same concept will be taught in your classes only. So apart from this, if you have any doubts, you can ask me now. Obviously, you'll have the access towards the video content also. Videos, so every day-to-day video will be provided for you. You don't need to worry about that. And the basic class videos also available for you. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. You are completely a beginner. Okay, that's well and good. So it is no problem to learn the concept if at all, if you are a beginner or else an experienced candidate also, it's well and good. You can learn it. Any another questions? It is well and good to learn about the beginners. Any AWS certification we can go for after this course. Yes, you can go for the AWS certifications like AWS Associate. Ankush, I am belong to mechanical background, so don't have the basic knowledge on cloud. You have the basic knowledge on computer, right? Ankush, so that's more than enough. If you have a basic knowledge on computer, that's more than enough. So that the remaining concept, I can take care of that. So here one more question is that can we do the certification if we go through the course? Yes, you can do the certification. AWS associate level certifications you can complete. Okay. Any another questions, guys, related to your technical accepts? So whatever, whenever I am taking the classes, the few more questions I will say the questions. The first question is AWS is reliable? Can we learn AWS? We are from the mechanical background or else we are from the, see, you know what? I am completely an electrical and electronics engineering. I am a triple E guy. So where can I have a knowledge on computer? I don't have any knowledge on computer, but still, now it's my passion to learn cloud. I learn the cloud, and afterwards from 2013 onwards, I'm working for the system administrator in the computer field itself. And then after, when the cloud was in boom, I completed my cloud courses, and then I am providing the training for the candidates who require the cloud infrastructure. So it is not about Abhishek, I already discussed about the duration of each and every session in the beginning itself. Okay. The AWS course will be completely online, or do we need any software to be downloaded on your desktop? I will discuss about the prerequisites, Anuprita. Okay, don't worry. I will discuss about the prerequisites, and the class duration will be, each and every session duration will be 2 hours, and it might be sometime it might be prolonged as per the discussion. So I'm just saying you that. So again, I'm repeating, it will be 2 hours, and it sometimes if the course is required, then we can go for the further knowledge, or also further we can increase that duration also, like 2 hours or else 2.5 hours also. The class might be prolonged. Maybe I might be closing that before also. So that completely depends upon the topic. As this is a weekend, as per my schedule, I don't have any weekend batches like I have completely cope up with weekday batches. Now I don't have any batches on weekends, so I can prolong my sessions also. I don't have any problem in that. Okay, so plan accordingly. So as per the weekend, so many of you are from our employees, so you might have your projects that are going through, and you can check it out. What is the consistent time timings for you? What are the things that you have to complete before 8 o'clock? To just keep a time frame that, so from 8 to 11 you are completely occupied. So think that. Okay, so this is the basic classes we are going to complete within 1.5 hours also. But from next week onwards, you won't be having this much less time of the classes. You will have completely cope up with the classes itself. Hope you understand. And the next question that I was got is, AWS course will be completely online, or do we need any software? Yeah. So the software is, yeah, this will be continued at the same time itself. Okay. So job opportunity, whatever written in the DURGASOFT website as syllabus, will you cover all like Lambda migration services? Yes, everything will be covered. Don't worry about that. Every service will be covered. Lambda, it's like how we are going to integrate the REST API, sorry, how you are going to integrate the REST API with Lambda and databases, and what are the basic concepts that will be available in the backend, how Lambda will be triggering the CloudWatch metrics. These are the concepts that we are going to learn. And migration services, that is the issue. So the migration services, we cannot say that completely. It's a basic concept that I can provide you training on migration, in the sense, apart from migration, some of the things that are not provided in the syllabus are also going to be covered, which are helpful for you when you're going for the interview perspective. And again, one question is that, and again, I have a question. Bablu, yes, the timings will be the same. The timings won't be changed. Can you share the job opportunities? As of now, if I have to say, the companies are requesting the candidates who are having the knowledge about AWS and DevOps. Both the knowledges are required. Only AWS itself is not sufficient, and as well as only DevOps is not sufficient. The candidates who are having the knowledge on AWS and DevOps, those are the candidates that are going to be selected for the interview perspective. And if you are a fresher, yes, we have. Yes, if you are a fresher, we have something. If you compare to the AWS perspective, you have some less jobs, but when you compare with the AWS and DevOps, if you are trying to get knowledge on AWS plus DevOps, then you are having immense number of opportunities out there. As a fresher, also you are having that. Go through the portals one, as you are having Naukri, or else you are having somewhere like. What else? There are so many portals are there, Monster, or else any jobs, you can go through the portals once. So there are an immense number of opportunities are there. Go throughout them and check it out. You can go through them also. Okay. So that's about your opportunities, guys. And then, sir, I'm working. I have only 1 day off, so I will attend the batch on recordings of Sunday. So can I get clear my doubts on next Thursday? You can clear out all your doubts, no problems, no problem. If possible, you can contact me anytime. So what I want to do is okay, let us do one thing. Whoever are interested to join the course, just share their phone number so that I can create a WhatsApp group where you can share all your doubts. If possible, if time is there, definitely I will reply. Or else, if the time is not there, then your students, or else then your co-participants who are there, they can share you their views, and you can go through the concept once. Hope you understand. Okay, so hope these questionnaires are done. Not directly to me, just I will do one thing. Okay, that's well and good, no problem. Vinay, thank you for that, but let us see what happens. You meet 2 days of time. By Monday, your group will be ready. So how many are interested? They can clear out their dues. I don't know what is the fees that DURGASOFT has been giving for you, but as of now, who are interested to join the course, they can pay their fees within these 2 days. So Saturday and Sunday, and from next Monday onwards, next Saturday onwards, your link is about to change. So the Zoom link will be changed so that whoever has been registered for the course, they will be allowed into the course only. So then I'm going to create a WhatsApp group and I will share you each and everything, and video sharings will be shared with you by the Gmail account itself. Okay. So we will go further in depth into the discussion once the basic concepts are covered, and then we will discuss about what is what and how we are going to share the videos. Everything will be discussed in the last of your class. Don't worry. So let us go for the understanding of these concepts. So first of all, you need to understand what is cloud. So previously, before 10-15 years before, everybody are thinking that a cloud is a storage area where we can store the data. So it's like a remote location where we can store the data. But here you need to understand one thing. Before you understand the cloud, first of all, let me introduce you to the on-premises ENV, on-premises environment. Everybody have a knowledge. Whoever are working, they have a knowledge on on-premises environment. So let us go for the configuration, or else let us see how on-premises will be looking like. For example, if you are working in a company, a client or else many clients will be there. Suppose this is your XYZ company. Let us think this is your XYZ company. So there are so many people, or else there are so many clients that you are having, and all your clients are requesting for the websites to deploy applications. Websites in the sense web applications to deploy, or else whatever the application they have, they want to deploy those applications. They want your help to deploy the application. See, if there is a bank. If there is a bank, something like there is an ICICI bank, or else there is somewhere like HDFC bank, and there are some hospitals like what I can say, some Prime Hospital, or else any hospitals are there, and there are some ABC customers, or else ABC textile industry is there, or else there are so many things, and each and every one require a website to publicity for the publicity purpose, or else for the customer maintenance, or else for the what I can say, for the employee maintenance. Each and everywhere they require some website, some servers, each and everything. They require the IT services. Basically, they require the IT services. If at all, if you see here, any bank, so either it might be ICICI, HDFC, or Kotak, or else Karur Vysya, or whatnot, each and every bank, for their access towards their client or else customer services, definitely they require a website. So how a client will be logged in? Obviously, they can have a website like let me do one thing, kvb.in. So this is how the KVB website will be looking like, or else there will be an ICICIbank.com. This is how their ICICI website will be looking like. Every small customer service, or else every small company also requires a particular IT service. Not only nowadays, everything is gone for digitalization, which means that everybody are relying on internet and everybody are relying on the computer knowledge. So each and every candidate should have a basic knowledge on computer. That's a mandatory thing. As same like this. So each and every company requires basic IT services. IT services in the sense they require servers, and they require network, and they require somewhere like storage. So these are some of the basic services that each and every company is requesting of. So servers, network, and storage, everything they are requesting. Now what happens here? ICICIbank.com, ICICI, or else any banks, they cannot have their servers in their banks. If they might have a small number of servers, but they will approach to an IT guy. So who is an IT expert? They will approach to the IT expert and ask them for the suggestions, how they can deploy the servers and how they can maintain the servers. So what IT service engineer will do? He says that we have a company here. Here we are having a company, and this company will provide you the IT services, whatever the services that you require. We hire the employees. So the IT service company, what are the basic IT service company that you know? What are the different IT services company that you know? Do you have any idea about IT service company? Just reply me in the chat box. Do you have any idea about IT service companies? Guys, waiting for your reply. Infi, okay. Yeah. So exactly, TCS, CTS, Wipro, Infosys, these are all provides the IT services. Exactly, HCL, very good. So every company, like it might be TCS, it might be Wipro, it might be somewhere like Infosys. Each and every service company, each and every company will provide the services to the clients. So now what happens? This IT service guy will say that we are having a tie-ups, or else we are the company who will provide the IT services for you. So let us take for the example, let us take a company called as TCS or else CTS, any company. So I will take the TCS company for example. Now what happens here? Whenever we go for TCS, or else whenever we go for an IT service company, I don't want to name any company anyways. So whenever we go for any company, what happens here? They will say that, okay, what is your requirement? You want this project. So everybody will say that in IT terminology, we will continuously listening about this term called as projects. So the project has not came, the project is not completed. The client is requesting the project to be completed on this part date. These are the terms that we will be listening every day to day whenever we are in the IT service company. What is this project? The project is nothing but whatever the client requirements, what is the application that is required by the client, what are the terms that we have to give for the client. These are all comes under the project itself. Now what happens here? The IT service guy will say that, so what are your requirements? First of all, he will understand the client requirements. So whether the client is requesting any database. So database services, yes, we have to provide the database, or else for servers, we have to provide server for the client, and as well as we have to provide the network for the client, and as well as whatnot, we have to provide somewhere like storage for the client to store his data. We have to provide some storage for the client. Like that, he will think each and every action. So we have to provide the backups. So we need to have the backup for the client. So this is how he is going to analyze what is the client requirement, and he will say that for all these things, he is going to charge you some high amount to maintain all these things. So creation is not important, to maintain them is so much important. So creation of server is very easy, but to maintain the server is difficult. So every day to day, whenever we create a server, for example, there is a server like this. Servers are nothing but huge compute resources. A server is a physical machine which can have high resources. So high availabilities and high resources will be there. For example, what is the resources that we require for any server? So my first question for you guys, what are the basic resources that we require? What are the basic things that we require for a computer, to turn on a computer, or else if any computer wants to run? I think everybody is having knowledge on computer. If at all, if I want to turn on and if I want to run my computer, what are the basic resources that should be there? Internet to turn on and to run the computer. Exactly. So the basic concept that we require here is, or else basic resources is CPU, memory. Memory is nothing but your RAM. I can simply say that it's a RAM type of memory. And storage will comes under hard disk. These are the major concepts, that major resources that we require for our computer to turn on. So our operating system will be loaded in the hard disk, so that whenever the system is turned on from hard disk, the data will be transferred to your memory, and from memory it will be transferred to your processor, and it will process the data. So the basic concepts are CPU, memory, and hard disk. In server also, you are having the same things. So server is nothing but a huge resource handler. You will have high amount of memory, high amount of processing units, and high amount of storage units. So your server will consisting of all these things. Now, whenever the user requests, I want a server, so we will provide a server for the user to run his application. Now what we are doing, so when we do this, when we dump any application in the server, so this is the application that is running in the server, and we have to monitor the application every day to day life. In our every day and day, we have to monitor this application, whether the application is running good or not. Is there any spikes? So suddenly the load might be increased, or suddenly the resources consumption of the application might be increased. So we have to look after all these things. So
this can be this has to be handled by the IT service company itself, or else. So we will not deploy the application in only one server. If we deploy the application in only one server, what happens? Suddenly, if the load increases, automatically the server is going to be crashed out. So we will deploy the same identical application in the another server also. Whenever we are doing this, these two servers should be in contact. For example, if the application, the same application is cloned into the another server also, so these two servers should communicate with each other, so that how much amount of load is going to come for the servers, it is going to do the load balancing. So suppose 100 hits has been come, 100 hits in the sense, for example, if I go for ICICI.com, now if I click enter over here, then I am trying to reach to the ICICI Bank server, which means that I am a customer of ICICI Bank server. Like that, I can have some thousands and lakhs of customers for any company. So whenever at this instant, there might be some thousands of users will be logging in. The best example I can say is that in previous month, we have an Amazon sale. Amazon Great Indian Sale. At that time, when you when Amazon Great Indian Sale is going on, so can you understand how many people are logging into the server? For an instance, for a second, there might be some thousands and lakhs of customers will be logging into that particular server. So at that time, what is my requirement? I need to increase the server capacity, which means that I need to deploy one more server so that the load will be balanced. So for this load balancing mechanism, want to communicate with the end customers also, to communicate with the end customers, whoever are there, to communicate with them also, I require networking. So suppose if you think these are the end customers, if you want to communicate the end customers also, you require networking. So this networking, so the client, so whenever the networking is there, automatically you need to have the network engineers who is going to monitor and maintain that network. So if there is any disconnection of the network, what has to happen? What is the backup plans? Everything has to be taken care by the network engineer and network manager. This is also one of the things. And after that, the storage issues. Every time a huge number of customers will be logging into your site. So whenever huge number of customers are logging into your site, they know that how much amount of data we want to store. For example, if a client is logging into, just to give me an example, I will tell you an example. In the Amazon itself, so you will have, when you log into your account, you will have each and every damn detailing. Like what are the different orders that you have placed, when was the order reached to your home, everything will be available if you are ordering it from. So if you order the item past 1 year back or else 2 years back also, when you order the item past 2 years back, still the order details will be available. How this can be maintained? These details can be maintained as a data in the databases. So the huge amount of data is going to be stored. So you need to have the maintenance towards the storage also. The storage has to be looked after by the storage manager, or storage engineers will be there. So here we need to pay for the storage engineers. If there is any maintenance required, definitely we need to go for the storage engineers. So whether the sandboxes has to be replaced, everything has to be worked by the manually. We have to do it manually. We don't rely on any another person, which means that we need to pay for the client need to pay for all the services that they are providing for the storage monitoring, storage maintenance, and the network monitoring, network maintenance, and server monitoring and server maintenance. If you see here, whatever the servers that we have purchased, the server can run without maintenance for 5 years, but after 5 years, definitely any server is required to undergo a process called as maintenance, which means that they need to replace the RAMs, they need to replace the hard disk, they need to replace the processors. So there should be some maintenance tasks will be done at that time. Again, it's a burden on the client itself. Whoever are maintaining those servers, the price details will be going for the client itself. So these are all the burdens that are affecting the client reachability towards the IT services. Now, the best example what I can show is, let me show you a PPT so that you can have a clear-cut understanding about this. So if you see here, so IT expert will say that you need to go, and then the IT expert will say that you need to have a network, you need to have a software, you need to have a backup system, storage, web application, everything. You need to have each and everything. But why we are going for the cloud? All these are available in the cloud infrastructure, whatever I am saying. So this is very hard to maintain. See, if you see here, this is very hard to maintain for me. So servers are very hard to maintain for me, and storage is very hard to maintain for me. To overcome all these scenarios, what client is going to do? Client is going for the cloud. So the cloud will provide each and every services. So we don't need to worry about the servers. We don't need to worry about the networking. We don't need to worry about the data storage and everything. So everything will be looked after by your cloud itself. So what we have to think about, the client need to think about their application and data. So this is what the client has to be looking after. So we don't need to worry about how servers will be managed, or else how servers will be maintained, and how servers will be monitored. And we don't need to worry about the networking. If networking get disconnected, if any network cable get disconnected, what should happen, how it is going to have the backup systems, everything will be configured by the cloud itself. Just we need to deploy whatever the servers, or else whatever the servers that we want to deploy, and we need to deploy our application and run on the particular server. That is the concept that comes with the cloud, which will be overcoming all your on-premises services. If you see here, now I will show you later about that. Is there any doubts here, guys? So why we are going for the cloud? Is there any doubts here? Have you understand what is the necessity of the cloud? Any questions? What is the necessity of the cloud? If you have any doubts, you can ask me right now. Yes, go on with that. Any questions? So hope you understand why we are going for the cloud. So the main thing is that to overcome all the physical pains that we have. Actually, what I can say, so it's a burden for us to monitor the server each and every second. It's a burden for us to monitor the network each and every second. It is a burden for us to monitor the storage. So to overcome all these struggles, we are simply going for the what I can say, simply going for the cloud itself. Yeah. Any doubts here, guys? Yeah, fantastic. If you understand, then we can go for the next concept. Now I am saying that I have a cloud, we are going for the cloud. Now what is meant by a cloud? So everybody will think that a cloud is some remote location where the data is going to be stored and where the resources are going to come. So the basic cloud is nothing but your data center, guys. So the remote data center, wherever it is located, that is called as a cloud. So what is this data center? Actually, inside a data center, if you see the data center, it will have a very huge area. It is constructed in very huge area. It might be in some hundreds and thousands of acres, and the data center will be placed. So it will be placed very far away from the city. For example, this is the data center. It's a very huge area. Inside this data center, we will have the server racks. So for example, these are the rack servers or else racks. And like that, we will have some hundreds and thousands of racks will be available inside the data center. Inside these racks, so these are all the racks that we have in the data center. Inside these racks, we will have some hundreds and thousands of physical servers will be there. So these are the physical servers that are present inside your data center. This is the physical server 1, physical server 2, physical server 3. Like this, we will have multiple physical servers in each and every rack. This is how your physical servers will be cooped up. And these physical servers, inside the physical servers, what we will have. So if I have to show you the physical server, let me show you them. This is how your physical servers will be. Just for example, for timing, let me show you this data center architecture one so that you can have a clarity about that. Azure data center. Azure data center. So if I go to the images,
Look at the data center, guys. How big it is. So the trucks, whatever the trucks over there near the data center, they are also going to seen like this. So this big, this many, some hundreds and thousands of acres, you will have the data center like this. So cloud is nothing but the combination of multiple data center. So this is about you, how your data center will be looking like. Inside the data center, let me show you. Inside the data center, I said you there will be several racks. Racks in data center. Yeah. So this is how a rack will be looking like your what I can say your what is that called as closet. Yeah. So like your closet, you can see this is how your a rack will be looking like. So you will have top panel, equipment rail. So you will have like this, and how you can build it. So if I have to show you the rack very clearly, let me show this. Yeah. So this is how your rack will be looking like. Okay. So there will be so many railings. So these are all called as railings. So what you can do for this railings, you are going to point your server. So if I have to show you the physical rack server, HP Zen 10 servers. Yeah. If you see here, this is a physical rack server. Now what I am going to do, so if you see here, we will be having ends. So there will be, this is one end, and if you see here, this is, so what I'm going to nail them into the racks. So racks. So let me check. This is well and good. Yeah, I think this is good. If you see, it is a clear-cut diagram how a rack will be and how the servers will be implemented. You see here. So these are the servers. This is the storage. This is the sandbox, or else this is the server. These are all storages, guys. So if you see here, these are the storage base, your hard disk base. I can simply call them hard disk base. Just like your locker, you can point, you can press one button so that the storage bay will be opened. You can push out your hard disk and you can close it out. So these are all storage base, and yeah, here you can see these are all the hard disk base, and these are the servers. This is how the backend will be looking like, and this is the networking. This is called as patch panel. So where all your networking cables are connected, this is a patch panel. And so these are the servers that you can have look after this. So this is a server. This is how your rack will be. So as you see here, for this Dell, this is the HP server. We are going to mount them into this rack like this. So we are going to nail them so that the servers will be copped up, and then we are going to connect our networking cables. From the networking cables, we can communicate with the servers. So this is how your data center rack will be looking like. This is a single rack, guys. This is only one rack. Like this, we will have some thousands and thousands of racks that are available inside a data center. Like this, as I already showed you in this diagram, these are all the servers and networking devices that are present inside the rack, that are installed inside a rack, and all these are interconnected with the help of networking cables. So all the cables are interconnected to one on one. So that is called as structured cabling. If you see here, structured cabling. So this is how your cables are connected to your racks. So how racks will be there, and how I need to connect, everything will be in a structured manner, so that each and every cable will be having a tag, so that the tag will show you which cable is coming from which port, and if there is any disconnection of the cable, then we can simply understand that this cable is coming from this particular port and it is got disconnected. We need to replace the port, or else we need to replace the cable. So everything will be in structured manner. So this is very easy to understand. If at all the cabling is, if at all the network cables are connected in a structured manner, it is very easy to understand that how we are going to connect to the servers and what are the things that we need to have. If there is any problem with the cable, how to overcome those things, everything will be understood in a proper manner. If the cable is not in a structured manner, that is, let us see. So this is what unstructured cabling, which means that all the cables are let them apart. So we cannot understand how cables are there. So it's a help for the engineers. So for example, let me take a clear-cut example for this. So yeah, this is the best picture that I can give. See here, this is how you are, if there is an unstructured cabling and there is no proper cabling, then it will take some hundreds and thousands of minutes, or else somewhere like days for the engineers to understand which cable is coming from which rack and to which server it is going, and what are the, or to which networking device the cable is going. It's very, very, very difficult for the engineers to understand how the cables are working. So you need to have a basic configuration, like everything will be in a structured manner, so that each and everything will be cop up with the tags. So that is what I am saying, Subodh Sharma. I am saying that from the beginning itself, data center will provide all the facilities. If you are not concentrating, you have to look back again. So I said you that it is going to provide everything like application deployment, and it is going to provide the data storage, whatnot. It is going to provide the servers, everything. So you have to go back. Okay. So this is how your data center will be looking like, each and everything like data storage and services. So this is the physical data center, how it is going to be looking like. And then what happens? So this data center will be maintained by some of the companies, and so before cloud was introduced into our before cloud was introduced, so everybody has to go for the physical data center. They need to have a very so each and every company needs to have a data center to store their storage services and each and everything. Then comes the most important picture, or else then comes the most important service, that is called as cloud. So this cloud will provide you the data centers which are cop up with each and every damn services. The cloud is going to provide not only storage, this is going to provide the application support, this is going to provide the server support. Each and everything we are looking back by your cloud only. The basic clouds, the main cloud service providers are, as per the terms, that is AWS, Azure, and GCP. These are the different cloud service providers who has came into the picture when the cloud was first introduced. So the basic cloud marketing, the 70% or 60% of the cloud marketing was handled by your Amazon itself, and the remaining is shared with the Azure and GCP. These are the main basic public clouds, guys. And apart from that, we are having like IBM cloud, Oracle cloud, VMware cloud, like that. We are having so many cloud cloud service providers. So that depends upon your company requirement. If your company is going for the Amazon, then you can have the AWS cloud. If the company is going for Microsoft, then you can go for the Azure. If the company is going for the Google, so then you can go for the GCP cloud. So these are the different clouds that are provided. And next, so this is about the cloud. So what is the basic concept of cloud? So how cloud was introduced? What is the necessity of the cloud, and how cloud, what is the basic concept beyond the cloud? So behind the cloud, to start the first cloud infrastructure, or else to start first cloud, the first thing is to overcome all the challenges that are happening by your physical server. Whatever the physical server, whatever the challenges that are provided by physical servers, to overcome all those challenges, we are going for a concept called as virtualization. Virtualization. So this is the main concept beyond your cloud. So if the virtualization was not implemented, then there won't be any cloud infra for you. So virtualization is the main concept behind your cloud to get so much of name and fame. So what is this virtualization? Before that, you need to understand one concept. Now tell me guys, before 2000 or else 2005, how many number of applications do you know? And how many number of websites do you know? How many number of e-commerce sites you know? Before 2000 and 2005, how many number of e-commerce websites are there? Can anybody say what is the basic e-commerce website that you know? What is the first e-commerce? Not only first, what is the e-commerce site that you well known before 2005? Any answers? How many e-commerce website that you know before 2005? None. So I can simply say that eBay is the first e-commerce site, or else eBay is the e-commerce site that I know from 2000 or else from 1998 onwards, maybe. So this is the only e-commerce site that I know. But now if you say how many e-commerce websites are there, Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, Ajio, Snapdeal and whatnot, Meesho, like that, we are having so many number of e-commerce websites which are helping for the customer to get their products as cheap as they can and as fast as they can. So why, how this has been topped up before? And you can see that we have so many applications like instant applications like Swiggy, Zomato, and riding applications like Uber, Ola. All these came after 2006 only. Before 2006, we don't have all these types of services which can be easily deployed. So after 2006 only, we have got all these things. Why? So you need to understand one concept called as, before you go for the cloud, you need to understand the basic concept. If you want to deploy any application, definitely you need to have a server. Okay, it might be so this is the physical server which I will have to purchase it for a lakhs of rupees. So if I want to purchase any server, the server will cost you around some lakhs. It might be somewhere like 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, or 4 lakhs, 5 lakhs. That depends upon the application dependency. So if I have purchased a server and I want to deploy an application, either it might be a web application or else any application inside this server, definitely I need to have somewhere like the RAM, processor. So if I have to purchase a server, I will purchase like 2 CPU, which means as 2 processors should be there, and somewhere like 64 GB of RAM, and somewhere like some 2 TB of hard disk. This is what my requirement. This is how I am going to purchase my server. But my application requirement is, I don't want this much amount of server. My application requirement is only about 8 GB of RAM and somewhere like 500 GB of hard disk. So what about the rest of the resources? So I am deploying only one application, but what about the rest of resources? The rest of resources inside your server will be wasted. So to overcome this problem, to overcome this scenario, what I am going to do? So as of now, so before virtualization and all the things, this is the problem that are faced by your companies. When the virtualization came into the picture, now what is happening? So I'm going to purchase a huge server. So that will be like somewhere like the same concept, 2 CPU, 4 GB of RAM and 2 TB of hard disk. I'm going to purchase this server. And now what I'm going to do, I am going to create some virtual machines. Virtual machines are nothing but like your physical machines only, guys, but you are going to install in your server. So this virtual machine will be inside this virtual machine. I can deploy my application. Just for your understanding, I will show you the virtualization concept. Now, if you see here, just a basic concept for your understanding, guys. This is not how your virtualization will be, but just for your understanding, I'm showing you. This is my Windows server. Suddenly, I got a project for Linux operating system. So the project has to be completed in the Linux. So how can I complete that? Either I can go for the dual booting, or else I can go for the another computer I need to purchase. But if I install a virtualization, any software like VMware or else any software inside my computer, then what I can do, I can deploy my whatever the servers that I want. So this is the Red Hat server that I have deployed, and I can deploy my virtual machine over here, and I can run the applications on this particular virtual machine. If you see here, my physical machine or else my physical computer is of Windows,
But when you go for here, I can access the Linux operating system also. It will be working as same as like your physical machine only. So if you see here, whatever the Linux operating system that I got, it is completely a Red Hat Linux where I can access whatever I want. Not only that, for some time I want Windows also. So this is a Windows mission, or for some time I want a Ubuntu mission. This is a Ubuntu mission. So I am deploying more number of virtual machines inside my computer only. So this is called as virtualization, where I can have a physical machine. Inside this physical machine, with the help of virtualization software, what I am going to do, I am going to deploy multiple virtual machines. So this is my Windows machine, and this is my, if you see here, this is my Red Hat machine. And if you see here, this is my Ubuntu machine. Okay, so inside the single computer, I am going to deploy so many missions, and I can run multiple applications. So if you see here, in this mission, I have deployed Terraform application. In this mission, I can deploy any website. And in this mission, I can deploy any website. In Ubuntu mission, I can deploy any website. So this is how your virtualization will be helpful to you. Now, when coming back to this, hope you understand virtualization. Now, within a single physical machine, the resources are going to be shared with between the multiple servers. So this is a server, and I can deploy one more server with the same configuration. I'm going to deploy one more server this time. So my computer is of 64 GB. I am going to use somewhere like one CPU here, one CPU, 8 GB of RAM, and somewhere like 500 GB of hard disk. If I am developing my web server, or else if I am developing any server with this configuration, so just calculate how much of resources that will be left off. So one CPU, or else here you can see 64 GB of RAM. My server is accessing only 8 GB. So from 64, if you subtract 8 GB, then we are going to get somewhere like 56 GB of hard disk. Sorry, 56 GB of RAM will be available for me. And if you see the hard disk, 500 GB is going to be occupied for my server. So from 2 TB, if you subtract 500 GB, you will have 1.5 TB. Now what I am going to do, I am going to deploy one more server, and I am going to run one more application. This server requires somewhere like one CPU and some 16 GB of RAM and somewhere like 1 TB of hard disk. These resources will be consumed from the physical resources only. So 16 GB from 64 GB, or else from 56 GB, if I subtract the 16 GB, then I can still have 40 GB of RAM, and somewhere like 500 GB of hard disk will be available for me. So if I want to deploy one more server, yes, I can deploy one more server inside my physical machine only. So that here, with the help of virtualization, what I can do, I can deploy multiple environment in a single server, and as well as I can deploy multiple application with the help of a single server resources. So everything will be optimized. I don't have to go and purchase one more server. If at all, if I got a project on Linux, there is no necessity for me to go for another server, to go and purchase another server. Simply I can install the virtual machine, or else virtualization concept. I can just install my Red Hat Linux, or else whatever the Linux that I want. If I want Red Hat Linux, I can install Red Hat Linux, or else if I want Ubuntu Linux for my project, I can run the Ubuntu Linux, or else if I want Windows operating system also, I can run the Windows operating system. So this is called as virtualization. This is the base of your cloud computing. Virtualization is the base of your cloud computing. Once the virtualization has came into the picture in 2006, who is the founder of AWS, guys, or else Amazon? Who is the founder of Amazon? Jeff Bezos, if I am not wrong. If everybody is not wrong, here's Jeff Bezos. So he has taken this as a thought. Why can't I use virtualization to develop the cloud? And he has developed his own cloud that is called as AWS. So not only AWS, and each and every cloud depends upon the main concept that is called as virtualization. So whatever the servers that you are deploying over here, let me log into my AWS account. Whatever the servers that you are deploying here, all these servers are the virtual machines. So all the servers are like this. So if you see, this is my physical virtualization. So here I have the Red Hat server, here I have the Windows server, here I have the Ubuntu server. In the same manner, whatever the servers that you are accessing from your AWS or else Amazon, this is a physical server that is located, this is a virtual server that is located inside your physical server. Let me show you that. Is there any servers that are running? Let me see. North Virginia, we don't have any server in Ohio. Okay, fine. So let me sorry guys, let me deploy a server in the North Virginia region. Instances and launch instance, and simply I will go with some test hyphen server. Amazon Linux is more than a T2 micro. Key pair will be something like this. Okay, and the app hyphen VPC. I will enable it. It's like a security group, and I will go for the advanced details. Text. All the things. So this, and I will simply paste it over here, and let me launch the instance. So once the instance has been launched, this is the server. So this is the virtual server. If you can see here, I have deployed an instance over here. Within seconds, I am deploying the instance. I don't have any problem in deploying the instance, and within seconds, I can up my application. This is the main thing that why we are going for the cloud. So we don't have more time. We don't have to take more latency of the time, or else we don't require more time to deploy an application. Within seconds, I can deploy the application whatever I want. Okay. So, but if you go for the physical servers, you need to purchase the server, you need to upgrade the network, you need to deploy the application. So it is a very hectic thing. But if you can see here, within seconds, I am deploying this server, and I can access my website. Not only you can also access the same website in your mobiles. So let me show you this. When I press enter, after some time, I am going to access this website. I am going to send you this URL in your chat box. Let me check, or else let us check this particular URL, and let me know whether you are able to access the website. So if you see here, after some time, within 2 minutes, I am going to access my website. Let us wait for a while. Just wait for a while. Within 2 minutes, we are going to access this. Why? Because to launch the server and to launch all the instances, it will take some time. So within 2 minutes, your server will be up, or else your services will be up and running, so that you can access your server. Just wait, guys. Why it is not? Yeah, there you go. So if you can access this particular message, or else I send you an URL, just try to access this URL and say me that are you able to access the website or not. Yes, yeah, that is what happens in the backend, which means that within seconds, what I am doing, I am deploying the server and I am going to access the web applications. Within seconds, everything will be happened. So this is the main benefit of your cloud. So we don't need to worry about how to take the servers and what are the different steps that we have to take, whether we need to check about the networking on all things. No necessity of doing all these things. Everything will be available in your finger snap. Okay. So whatever the server that we have deployed, or else whatever the instance that we have deployed, this instance is also a virtual machine. So the basic background for your cloud is your virtualization. Hope you understand the concept. Is there any doubts here, guys? Any doubts that you want to ask? You can ask me right now. Yeah. Fantastic. If you are able to hit the URL, that's well and good. Yeah. Any doubts, guys? Have you understand what is virtualization and what is the main benefit of this AWS and cloud infrastructure? Why we need to go for cloud, and the virtualization concepts beyond the cloud? Can we use all the services in free tier? Okay. We cannot use each and every service in free tier. Everything, the services difference between. So you understand the difference between cloud and data center. Is there anything? Just give me a second. I will come to that. So there is a question from Vinay. Vinay is asking that can we use all services in free tier? You can use each and every service in the free tier, but it is not free of cost. Some services you have to pay. So every service which you use will not be given as free of cost. Some services are free for lifelong, like IAM is free for any time. So you can use IAM for free. And like that, you are having some services which are free for lifetime, but some services are free for 12 months, and sometimes some services are free for some particular time. So if they can say that it's a free tier, but I cannot say that everything will be available in the free of cost. If you need to pay for them, you need to pay for some of the resources also. So to learn AWS, you need to have minimum of 500 rupees to 1000 rupees to learn the AWS apart from your course fees. Okay, so the difference between, hope you understand the difference between, so the data center and cloud, there is no difference. So whatever the cloud, so each and everything, whatever the services that are deployed in the data center in the remote location, that is called as a cloud. So the cloud is a combination of multiple data centers only. Okay. Any another question? Can you provide any pro and cons between AWS, GCP, or it is too early? Guys, see, there is no difference between all the clouds. The terminology is the difference. Okay. So if I have to describe about AWS, in AWS, I can call it as VPC. In Azure, the same concept is called as virtual networks. So I am not very extensive towards GCP, so I don't discuss about GCP more, but I can provide you the difference between AWS and Azure. In AWS, we will call it as VPC. So it's like a same building block. So whatever the terms that we use, or else whatever the services that we use in AWS, the same services are used in the Azure with a different name. That's the main difference. That's it. So in AWS, I will call it as VPC. In Azure, it is called as virtual network. In AWS, we will call subnet. In the Azure also, it is called as a subnet. In AWS, we will have somewhere like S3 buckets. In Azure, it is called as blob storage. In AWS, we will call it as RDS, relational database. When you go for Azure, it is called as a database system. So that's the main difference. That's it. There won't be any difference between accessing of the services. The service names will be different. Hope you understand, Naveen. Okay. So the major difference is that AWS, to create an account in AWS, you require a debit card. If at all, if you are having a debit card or else credit card, that's more than enough to create the AWS account. When you go for the Azure account, definitely you need to have a credit card. Without credit card, you cannot create the Azure account. With the debit card, it is highly impossible to create the account. So to understand, or else to learn, or else to do the practical in Azure, definitely you need to have a credit card, and you need to create the Azure account. Okay. So this is the main difference, guys, more or less. So whatever the cloud you are learning, so the cloud terms, whatever the services that are provided by the cloud will be similar itself. There won't be any difference, but the naming conventions will be different. That's it. Okay. So that's about your AWS and virtual. So apart from this, have you understand the virtualization? Mute yourself.
Harsha?
Vinay, mute yourself.
So sorry.
So hope you understand the concept, guys. Virtualization things. Is there any doubts regarding your virtualization? So have you understand what is the backend of your AWS? So whatever the servers that you are accessing here, these are all the virtual servers. As I showed you here, how I am accessing the virtualization in my computer. The same manner, you will be having a physical server. Inside the physical server, you can run the multiple virtual servers. And whatever the server that you are accessing over here, this is a virtual server. Inside this virtual server, you can deploy whatever the application that you want. Okay. Is there any clarification that you require, guys? Is everything is clear? If everything is clear, then we can go for the further concepts. Is there anything that you want to ask me? Okay, so now let us go back to the next concept. Hope you understand the base of your AWS or as base of your cloud. The basic cloud is depends on completely virtualization. Now the concept is that what are the necessity softwares for you to learn the cloud? So you don't require more number of softwares if you are having a computer with 4 GB of RAM
and a very good internet facility is more than enough to learn cloud. That's more than enough. You don't require anything else. So we require one software called as Putty. This is of 3 MB only. So just go to the browser and go to one thing like putty.org. So here you can see, if you type this putty.org, you can download Putty. So click on download Putty. Once you download that, so you can, it will redirect you to this. So this is what Windows installer. If at all, if you are using the Windows operating system, click on the Putty installer, 64-bit installer. So then automatically I will have this pop up like 3.53 MB of Putty software. I will click on start download. Once it is start, just click on open. So it will be showing like this. Next, I already have my Putty session. Next, and install. So automatically the Putty will be installed. That's it. That's it. So that is how you can install your Putty. I already have my Putty running, so I'm not going to use this. But if you want to install, you can install like this. That is the software which you require. And when you open this, this is how your Putty will be looking like. So yeah, we'll discuss about this. These are the basic prerequisites that you need to have in your computer. You need to have a 4 GB of RAM, and you need to have a Putty software installed in your computer. That's more than enough to learn the cloud. Okay. Now next one, coming back to the next one. So as per the discussion, yes. Okay, if you are using Ubuntu 24.04 also, you can directly have, you can download your Putty session from the Putty software, Putty organize, or as Putty URL from the website. You can download that for your Ubuntu also. So try to access Putty for Ubuntu 20.04 in Google. You can get downloaded the Putty software. Okay. Or else some more applications are there, MobiStream like that. So you can go through them also. Okay. So just go and search in the Google. You can download the Putty software for your Ubuntu. Just I'm telling you it for the Windows. You can search in the Google. You can have that. Linux is a part of this course. Linux is not a part of this course. This course is completely of AWS only. Linux, whenever we require the Linux, then definitely I will give the basic content only. What are the required commands that you need to have, so that you can have a clear-cut understanding, like user creations, user permissions, and then what are the basic commands that we require, that we will see in the next class. Linux basic content, everything will not be provided. Linux is not a part of this course. Okay, it is purely AWS. But basic, whatever we require, that I will tell you in the next class. Okay. Now, if I go back here, so as per our agenda, we have seen the path of learning cloud, basic prerequisite to learn. So as I already said you that a computer with 4 GB and a good interest, and you need to have a basic knowledge on network, and you need to have a basic knowledge on Linux. That's more than enough. And intro, I have given my introduction, and what is the difference between on-prem and the cloud. I already said you on-premises, everything has to be pop-up routers, everything has to be done by the engineers and network managers, and not only that, physical, everything has to be monitored manually. But when you go to the cloud, everything will be managed by your cloud infra only. So you just need to work on whatever the application, you need to concentrate on the application and the data that is received by the customer itself. And data center architecture, hope you understand. Inside a data center, you will have somewhere like racks. Inside racks, you will have the physical servers. Inside the physical servers, you are going to install the virtualization, and inside that you will deploy the application, as I already said you about this. And AWS account creation, yes, that we will see in the next class. AWS account creation and networking IP address, that we will see in the next class. Networking and all the concept. Okay. So yes, any doubts apart from this? So if you don't have any doubts, we can wind up the session for today, and tomorrow also we will meet at the same time, 8 o'clock. And then so if I have to give you about the course details, again I'm saying you guys, about the course details. I already gave you the course details, but what I'm going to do here is, so the course will be of weekend. It is completely weekend batch, and it will be going all around 10 weeks. And every Saturday and Sunday, you will have the batch on Saturday and Sunday, and that too from morning 8 AM and 8 a.m. to it might be up to 10 or 10:30 a.m. I cannot say that. So baseline will be 10 a.m. or else I can extend up to 10:30 also. Okay. So, and the next one is course fees that will be discussed by the management itself. I am not going to discuss about the course fees. So, yeah. So, hope you understand this. Weekend batch, 10 weeks, Saturday and Sunday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. or 10:30 a.m. And the syllabus as I already given to you. So, one week we can have completely with VPC, and the other week we can have completely other. It will take 2 weeks to complete EC2 instances, and it will take 1 week to complete S3, and it will take 1 week to complete IAM. So like that, it is going to take as per the agenda. Okay. Hope you understand this. Two years. Yes, you can keep 2 years of experience. How much experience, that depends upon the practical that you do. So you can keep minimum of 2 years of experience, and if you do immense number of practicals, then you can go for any extent also. But again, I am saying you, interviewers are not looking for the candidates who knows only AWS. They are looking for the candidates who are have the knowledge on both AWS and DevOps. So if your curriculum is only with AWS, so I cannot say that you can shortly get a job, but you need to have the knowledge on DevOps also. So then why we can't go directly for DevOps? We can directly learn DevOps. Yes, you can directly learn DevOps, but it is like learning BTech before learning 10th and intermediate. So the basic concept will be completely revolving around AWS only. In DevOps, you have to deploy some. The basic concept will be completely revolving around AWS only. In DevOps, you have to deploy some. Can you mute yourself, please? I don't know who is this. Ajit Naik. Yeah. Okay. Fine, guys. Hope you understand. And tomorrow we will discuss about networking and Linux concept, which will be helpful for you to understand VPC also. And after each session, by what time we will get the recording link. That will help for us to buy. I cannot say that. So why? Because my thing is to complete the session on time or else with the extra time. But the management will provide you. By when the end of the session is there, automatically the video will be converted and that will be available with the management within within an hour or else within 2 hours. They will submit you the video. Okay. If the video is in my hand, I can say you that within an hour you can get it out. But the video access is not in my hand. That will be with the management. They can look after your video access. Okay. Yes. We'll meet in the next session. So as of now, it's 9:30. It is about 9:25. We'll meet in the next session and discuss about the remaining concepts. Same time, same link, guys. For the next week, up to the next week, you will have the same link. Tomorrow also you can join in the same link. Tomorrow we will discuss about some of the Linux concept through deploying and server in the AWS. And first of all, we will create an AWS account. So tomorrow's agenda is whenever we log into the session, the first thing is we need to create an AWS account. So who doesn't have the AWS account? Get a debit card of it might be Visa, Master, or else American Express. Don't use RuPay cards. RuPay cards are not accepted. So we can create an AWS account. Once the AWS account was created, we will deploy a server. And on the server, we will deploy a Linux server. And on the Linux server, we will try to understand some of the basic commands. And after that, I will try to make you understand about networking. So what is meant by network and what is an IP address? These are the concepts that we are going to cover. Once you understand the networking concepts, then we can go for the VPC configuration. From next week onwards, we will be diving into the VPC. And from there, we are going further into the next concept. Hope you understand this. Okay. So have a nice day. And yeah, if you have any relatable questions towards the fees and all the things, you can contact the management. They will help you on that. Okay. Thank you. Bye. Have a nice day.